What's going on, guys? It's the Red Swish, and we have a little tactics video that I'm going to be dropping for you guys right now. It's going to be on the 3-4-1-2. Now, that's a tactic that I am running on the RTG. This is my RTG right now, and it has been doing absolute bits. It's a lot of fun. I love 3 at the back formations. I can't use 4 at the back for some reason. 3 at the back feels right to me. So let's get right into it. Let me show you how this plays. So starting off with the defensive style, we stick with balanced. I stick with balanced on basically all of my main tactics. I find when you do any kind of pressure, the stamina goes down so much. And by the end of the match, my guys are running on fumes. So I stick with balanced. I have no problem there. I'm not a fan of pressing in FIFA anyways. I just think it leaves you so wide open. So we stick with the balance. We go 40 width. I've experimented. I don't really see too much of a difference in this one here, but 40 width seems to work. 50 depth as well. You can move it higher if you'd like. I find with 3 at the back, it's a little tricky sometimes when you lose the ball. So sometimes having your defense a little bit deeper means you don't get countered as easily. So I think 50 is kind of the sweet spot there. Offense, you're going to catch a theme here. I keep everything on balance. I kind of let the players decide what to do. If you're going to switch to anything, I suggest switching to a fast buildup. This just means your left mid and right mid are going to dive forward a little bit quicker. I find with these tactics, sticking on balanced, everyone's making the right runs all the time for me anyways. So I would just stick on balance there as well. Chance creation, once again, you can switch to forward runs if you'd like, or direct passing. I'm not a fan of playing the long ball like that. So if you are, go with direct passing. If you like those over the top through balls, which are extremely OP right now, go for direct passing. For me, I stick with balanced. It kind of encourages more of a shorter game around the box as well. We go with 50 width, pretty standard. Players in the box, we go up to 7. Sometimes I go up to 8. I think I said this in my last tactics video. I go between 8 and 7. 7 seems okay for now though. Corners and free kicks, I suck at these, so I just keep them low. I wouldn't even mind going down to 1 up. So let's get into player instructions and what kind of players you should be using. Starting at the back with the goalkeeper, stays completely the same. You guys know what to use for a goalkeeper. Use the good ones. I'm using Berkey here. He's not great. I do want to get an upgrade at some point, but use a good keeper. You guys know who to use. Center backs, because it's 3 at the back, we have them all on stay back while attacking, and that's for obvious reasons. We don't need them joining the attack. We have all these other players up here who are able to get forward. For your left and right center backs, they need to have high pace. That's very important because they're the ones that are going to be chasing down those diagonal through balls right away. That's why I always end up using a fullback as one of the center backs and then get another center back with extremely high pace. Your Klostermans, your Lacroix, guys like Mbabu and Mukiele, those kind of guys, they do great in that center back role. For the middle center back, I always use a really strong defender. Usually they don't have a lot of pace and it's just fine that way. Obviously, if you can get a Van Dijk or something in there, use him. I use Hummels, and the reason for that, I need a center back here with really strong defending because they're going to be the one defending all your crosses, your long shots, that kind of stuff. And I also like the middle center back to be skilled on the ball. That doesn't mean with dribbling or anything, but their long passing and short passing should be very, very good. A lot of times when you're building up, they'll end up on the ball and they get to spray the passes to the wings. That's why I use a guy like Hummels. He does great in the air. He's a wall on defense. And with the passing range, he kind of starts a lot of the attacks. So feel free to use a slower center back in the middle. It won't hurt you that much. Going to the CDMs, this isn't the place for box-to-box midfielders or anything. Get 2 big lugs that want to play defense for you. Get them on stay back while attacking, stay on the edge of box for cross, and cover center. These are your ball winners. Their main purpose is to get the ball, recycle it to the wings, and sit back. They will pop up around the edge of the box, so you may want a guy that has some decent long shots, but in this FIFA, anyone has decent long shots. I say focus on getting high defensive ratings, high physical ratings. Pace helps. I use Casemiro and Witsel. They both have like 60-ish pace, so they're not the fastest, but they do get the job done just because their other defensive stats are so high. On to the right mid and left mid. So these ones, the instructions are very important, and I would say they're almost non-negotiable when it's like this. Come back on defense, get in behind, get into the box for cross. Come back on defense is necessary in this formation. When we lose the ball and these guys come back on defense, and with the CDMs already staying back, you basically end up with 7 guys behind the ball, and that's very difficult to break down, even if your right mid and left mid don't have the best defensive stats. Get in behind encourages them to make those overlapping runs. These guys are very important. They need to have high pace. These guys should be the fastest guys in your team. Decent crossing will help as well. Good dribbling. Defensive stats help, but I don't think they're necessary. You can just use pure out and out wingers here. Just make sure they're fast. Make sure they can hit those overlaps and get that ball into the box really quick. And I guarantee you that's where you'll score most of your goals. On to the cam. I didn't even touch him. Everything here works just fine for me. You can switch him to stay forward if you like. What I've noticed with the basic defense support is that going forward, usually this player will start all the way on the left-hand side of my attack, like every time. If you do want him more centrally at the start, keep him on stay forward, but I don't mind having an extra body kind of hovering around the middle there, so I keep him on basic defense support. Important things for this player: pace isn't as necessary, although they should have a decent amount. Long shots are very helpful. This is the guy that would get the most long shots on your team, and they need to have decent passing. They need to be able to ping through balls to each of your wingers as well as to your strikers if there's a gap. Sane isn't actually the best prototype for a cam here because he does have a low weak foot and his passing isn't the greatest either. For me, I use him because I don't really have anyone else to put in that spot. But ideally, you want someone with a little bit better of a weak foot so that when they're under pressure, they can play a pass in any direction. And like I said, get some good long shots on that guy. You'd be surprised how much space that they always get. This guy is the main hub of your attack. So if you're going to invest coins in someone, invest in a good cam. It'll make your life a lot easier. On to the strikers. I didn't change much on these guys either. I went with everything default except for the defensive support. I have them both on stay forward. In this FIFA, with the way crossing works, I like having at least one aerial threat as a striker and one other guy that maybe is a little bit better with his feet. That's because we get lots of crosses coming in, so it's good to have guys that can win the ball in the air for you. If you're wondering why we don't go with get in behind or anything like that, I find, I don't know if this has happened to you guys either, but I find when I'm playing against a drop back defense, the get in behind causes me nothing but problems because my strikers just run and then they're offside for half the time. So I find I have to do a lot of back passes and stuff. I find with the mixed attack, they lurk around a little bit more. They'll still make runs, but it's a lot less frustrating. If you find like you're not playing a lot of drop back opponents, switch one to get in behind. I still suggest keeping at least one on mixed attack, but you can still switch one to get in behind if it makes you feel a little bit more confident going forward. Like I said, ideal players, you'd have one target man. So I obviously use Haaland here. You can use like your Lukaku's, Lewandowski's, guys like that. I find off of goal kicks, these guys are handy as well. Usually just lob one down with my keeper, lands right on his chest, and then we're off and running. For the other striker, get someone who's a little bit better on their feet, someone who can do a little, maybe a few more 1-2s with someone like your cam or your wingers on the side, and pace never hurts. You guys know that. Pace is always helpful in FIFA. No matter what they say, get some pace in your front too as well. But that's basically it, guys. That's the team I'm running right now. That's the tactics I'm running. Let me know what you think. Try these out. They're not perfect. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is very simple and default, so feel free to mess around with it if you want to try anything else. Let me know what you guys think. Hit the like and subscribe button. Tell me if you want to see other formations. I love doing tactics videos. I don't want to bore you guys by doing the same thing all the time. So let me know if there's any other tactics you want to see. Thank you for watching yet again. I'll see you guys next time. Adios.